Hey, muy buenas noches to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. And as always, thank you, Tony, for allowing me to get on your platform. Stories written by a current prisoner to share my stories. Now, before I start off and continue on my story, como siempre, just allow me to say muchas gracias. I probably sound like a broken record already to you guys, but do know that this gracias comes finessed with a lot of different words. You know that I'm just dumb to express them, but I do know that I appreciate you guys' time, words, and prayers. Gracias again. Okay, just to continue off from where I left off, like I stated, we had not we, they had agreed to basically a settlement to allow us to get out, from the penal in Nayarit. So we ended up getting out through the back door. So when we did, we made our way back to to Culiacan, or should I say it's a little town right outside. It's still considered Culiacan, but it's El Llano de la Cruz. So anyways, so we went back and we basically caught up with putting out the 411 that to those we needed to get it out to. Mainly, they were concerned on, it's just politics that always plays between them, and Richie, they were really pressing that line on the Billy Mono, due to him staying in the back and having the privilege or reaching an agreement for him to get out before us, like a month before us. But I really have nothing bad to say about that because I really believe that, there's no control on that, and like I stated when we conversated with the Billy D from OWN, I really think that it wasn't based on what he said or nothing like that. It was their decision to put him back there for a reason or another. One thing I was sure of is that he did not speak out of term or out of bounds, because I remember they didn't put us up like we were arrested till the second week we were there, because their objective was to, if we were part of what we were part of, for them to take us out. And I really believe that if he would have spoke, you know, we were never gotten put up, registered like we were busted. We were just been domed and thrown out. And that's exactly what I told the Pili, that I really think they probably suspected something more from the camarada than us. Is why they did those steps. But either way, we wouldn't have made it out if he would have spoke out his neck. So once all this got cleared, basically the two Pilis, they got put in their place, basically just there was nothing there for them just to stop, talking, basically talking about it, or else it was being taken as something different, So there was a dead issue there. So I remember we ended up staying right there in the rancho, basically catching up, cause man, we didn't just get beat in, it was rough inside, it's inside. Basically, you have to pay for everything in Mexican prisons, I'm not gonna say we didn't have those people that were actually would have been able to put money or not put money because Mexico works with real money, so they would have to either come and visit you and give it to you in person, or and due to us having so much focus on us, we basically had to deal with what we had. So we made up for last time. We caught up on other issues, and then it was time for us to sit down and what was going to be required of us. I remember just one day, the old man from Montero, he just told us he was going to be coming down, so in person we could discuss what was there, what was on the table for us to do or what we should do, and to see if we were willing to assist them. Which you guys know it's a lie. When they come, they're gonna come put it on our table as a sureño, because it's what's there. It's what we need to do. There's no buts or ifs about it. But he was never at least disrespectful in that form. He put it kind of like he was giving you a choice, but we all knew there was no choice there to take. But anyways, so the time came, he came down and he told us basically we were gonna end up going to Oaxaca, that there was a camarada down there they called Bago, and that we had to eventually get there with the big old issue that was happening. And he basically put all the cards on the table, that the camarada down there, he had the plaza as well, and all his workers were camaradas, sureños, and he was having a real hard time. So to my surprise, it came back to be that it was with the MS. I don't know, I really don't know where I've been at. Like the last couple of years back, I've been probably caught up in so much BS that I wasn't really aware of how deep they got in. I remember when I hit Quinton, uh, a lot of the camaradas from MS in Frisco, they were terrified to get deported, because the Mano Negra, and I really don't know the real history behind them, but they were terrified. So it was kind of like a surprise for me to hear how deep they were, and how there was a division from the Batos in South America, down there in El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, that little area. And basically they were jumping over from Guatemala to Oaxaca, and starting chaos in Oaxaca where the camarada was at. So we were to eventually, we're going to end up there. But first, our first thought, we needed to go to Veracruz, and they were going to, give us the intel better there. And from there, we're going to move. And that in Veracruz, we're going to meet up with an older camarada, excuse me. They called Bouncer. I believe he was from West Side, Pomona. And we're going to stay at the rancho. It was a rancho or a town, Cardova or something like that. It wasn't really in Cardova. It was like a 10-minute drive from there. And then from there, we're going to get laced up and then wait on Bago for him to tell us to get out there to Oaxaca. So we ended up staying, we said our goodbyes to the old man, and we ended up staying maybe a week. We're going to have more out there in Sinaloa, and then the time came for us you know, to head down to Veracruz. Now, not to sound like fruity or give this any time, but it was when we got to Veracruz, like the first couple weeks at this rancho was like, man, it was peaceful. I gotta give it that. It was there was a lot of camaradas. There was quite a few camaradas. We met the older camarada from Pomona, Then there was I believe it was Cricket from I forgot if he was from Southgate or Jardín. I forgot, but he was from one of those two neighborhoods. He was there. The little homie Boxy, if I'm not mistaken, he was from Playboys. There was there was quite a few camaradas. They were pulling up from different parts of Mexico to basically wait on directives to go support the camarada. And that little melee, he was having with the mess in Oaxaca, in the outer towns of Oaxaca. Like I mentioned, he supposedly had the whole plaza for the state. He was in the mix like that. At this time, I had not had the pleasure of meeting him, or I heard his name a couple times, but in due time we were going to. But back to Cordova, Veracruz, it was peaceful. We were there, and yes, we were assisting with certain things, and but it wasn't nothing like out of pocket. It was just some things like fools didn't want to pay, so we went. And how bouncers smacked them around, collect, little small stuff like that happened mainly in Veracruz, Cordova, and big towns around, and we ended up going, doing our thing, and headed back. But for the most part, it was just one of those places, that since I got an out, from being sentenced to life and from all this BS, I had actually had time to really see freedom. I don't know if I'm making sense to you guys. It was just, one of those times that after so long, I actually got to get out. It happened just one day. I just got up around 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was a rancho like uphill in the cerro. So I got up, and I looked down, and all you can see is, mountains, peaceful, green, nothing but green. And I really sat down. At this time, I still smoked, so I lit up a cigarette, and man, I enjoyed it. It was like, damn, the stuff you miss, by going 100 miles an hour in life, or for doing stuff that don't give you that chance to really sit down, look around, treasure, value what's around you. It was just one of those moments, where I actually, I actually got to see how beautiful life is. And not to sound corny or anything, but it was exactly what I felt at this moment. It was like, damn, from being in a cell for so long, being, in doing shoe for 10 years and plus, and from at one point, fighting cancer inside, fighting, having life. I was out in the open where all I could see is green, and you could hear the chachalacas in the background, and it was just one of those moments, that I could really go back to, and it was peaceful. It was just one of those moments that I'm not gonna say beautiful, lovely, no, it was just peaceful. After so much time of hell, of just headaches, it was peaceful. And but not to lose sidetrack, ay discúlpeme por favor. But anyways, we were there, and the camarada, bouncer, he was a real cool older homie. He was basically he was making us feel as comfortable as possible, with him, and reassuring us that everything was gonna be cool. That he was down here doing his thing for a long time. And I actually got to sit down one time, and he basically asked me for my background story. So not to bore you guys with it, you guys know so far. I kind of ran him through how my stay time, my fed time, and the things that and he told me just be patient, things will come, we're at a point where you're gonna be like him. He was taking care of this rancho. He didn't leave nowhere. He didn't go do no missions no more. He just took care of the rancho and just did his thing, when there was camaradas in need, they go refuge themselves with them, and that was basically it. All he was doing. But at this time that I'm talking about, it was firmes, but it was all campoleros, it was all sureños that we were there, so we're basically joking around doing our. There was nobody there that thought himself to be a high power sureño. It was basically all just BS. Nobody thought it was better than the next man because we all done our share, I remember Raccoon. Where was Raccoon from? Oh, I think he was from Clovers. Yeah, he was from Clovers, if I'm not mistaken. Clovers, yeah, he was from Clovers. And he basically he was a good homie. He was the most like political or high power individual, but he still, you picked on him and picked on him till the point where you had him crack. It was just those things, and is why my belief personally is, yes, I agree, maybe there is no structure if there weren't be no inmate, but that's not true, because there's structure with those individuals that cut them out their program too, they haven't crashed. There's no chaos among them, it's just another way to trick raza to maintain in the grabs of these people, in my opinion. Because, within time, the Pilis that were out there with us, they ended up showing up, Mono showed up, Richie, O showed up with Tweety, the camarada Tweety, and he wasn't a Pili, but he sure acted like one, if you guys get what I'm trying to say. And a lot more, like Sapo, the Pili Sapo that had Valles, and the guys that were running Rudy's car right there in Jala and Tequila and all that area, Ameca, all that area, they showed up, and it changed quick, The environment got heavy, it was just like nobody wanted to fool around. These vatos was just keeping their eye on everybody, what everybody was doing, so everybody was on their toes because they didn't know what to think of the vatos being here. It was just that, that in comfort, to be sincere, is you couldn't beat camaradas the way you can beat just amongst camaradas, and before the time we actually got to head out to Bago, the camarada Bago came in. He introduced himself, and at one time, I guess, same year, we're in a certain shoe together. We just didn't have the pleasure of meeting each other, but he went by a different name, which I won't put out here because I believe he's still doing his thing, and then the old man from Ontario got there, and basically put us down on what we had to do when we got there. We had to just follow what Bago had to say, to the dot. And he made it real clear, that even though these vatos were señores, they were still to follow suit to the dot, And so that came, and the old man actually pulled back to Sonora, and Bago went back to Oaxaca to continue out there to basically lay the foundation for us to get out there, and just for us not to get there and be them guys already waiting on us, because Salvadoreños or Guatemaltecos, disculpen, they know how to do little wars out there, in the, I'm not gonna say sierra, but up in the mountains and stuff. They're with it out there, especially if they're from, Sudamerica or Central America, perdón. So he was gonna go back and lay down for us to get out there, and he was gonna let us know. But you know how I stated that the minute these Spilis got there, the air got real thin. Well, Sapo had to go attempt to what he was doing back for whatever we needed while we were out there. He made it clear that we could always, give him a cuernazo, and he would support us, as well as Rudy's people, they pulled out. And to date, I'm not really clear on it too much. It's just, I don't understand. I really don't understand how the SUV car is formatted or divided, But for some reason, Richie and Mono, they didn't really like Bouncer from West Side Pomona. I don't know if I know Pomona's right next to Ontario, but I know the distance between the Monte Flores. I don't know. It's just the camarada Bouncer, he was actually older than these vatos, and I just remember that a whole bunch of like misunderstandings started happening, and then they started questioning him about some issue that his neighborhood had, and I believe at this time Bouncer was in the system, being somebody's secretary for his neighborhood, and not to make it long, they ended up politicking on him to the point where they actually reported him to the main battles that we were there under, which was, the Sinaloas, under missing merchandise, mercancía. We didn't know this till later, and they ended up coming and picking him up and taking him, which we all knew what it was. They were gonna go ahead and deal with him, which, to be sincere, at this moment, I called that old man, from Ontario, and I let him know, like, hey, look, señor, con todo respeto, these vatos, they were pressing a line here and here and there, and they ended up coming from Bouncer. I know you've been having him here for a long time, and I just thought it was right for you to know. I don't agree with it being okay, and it was one of those famous quotes they have. It was like, look, just stay focused on what's in front of you. Whatever these two vatos did, they did already. You can't speak about it because they're pilis, you're sureño. Just focus on what's coming, and don't allow them to even know that me and you had this conversation, and just leave it alone. At this time, it was starting to be sincere, to touch a chord, to touch a nerve, hearing those, just leave it alone and keep pushing. I just felt it wasn't right that the camarada had a good, and I'm talking about a good 35, 40 years under his belt doing things right, to when this power hungry vatos got there and they pulled one of those dolphin moves to deal with him just because their neighborhoods, which they shouldn't even care about no more, didn't get along or whatever, to the point they dug to the point they were able to wash them up, and they didn't even wash them up correctly because it was supposed to go under us. We're supposed to take care of it, we're supposed to deal with it, but they didn't even do that, man. They lied and they washed them up to an organization that this vato's been 15 years taking care of this rancho, and not one thing had ever gone back. But that goes to show how the cartels think about us, you know. When you have a vato being faithful to you, taking care of your material, your ranchos for you for 15 years and nothing has gone wrong, how easily somebody you don't really know too good could come in and put that bug in your ear to the point to get a reaction from you that really makes no sense. But it's just one of those, dispensing. I say it like that, but if you guys got a better word for it, please do feel free and comment. You do know, you guys see that I'm on the comments, but to me, that's a dolphin move. That's a tecato move, to do that snake shit and think that you're too high and mighty for you to get touched. But as I done up until this point, I just basically sucked it up and did have a couple conversations, with a couple camaradas that were there, like I remember, what's his name, Sporty from Maravilla was there supporting us, and he was real cool vato, and we conversated about this, and it just seems that it didn't matter how much camaradas were willing to put themselves out there. It just, as you see us another one of them coming not liking you, that's your butt. But it was just the story repeating himself. But at this point, I was still that stupid one, which I don't consider myself smart till date. If I would have been a smart person, I would have pulled out way before after seeing so many things. But I didn't. So, that old man from Utere was right. There was some bigger things coming ahead, and I needed to focus on that because I thought we were really in for it bad, but man, as you guys would hear, I ain't even touch the surface on how things got so bad down here. But I don't want to make this video too long. I just thought I got on here and kind of told you guys a little bit more on my story. Share with you how easily it was for a 35, 40-year career of being caught up in the system in Cali, shoot turns, running things, being in Mexico for all along, doing things correctly, and how easily just one of these dolphin guys came and how easily they could do their actions the right way to throw you out the window como nada, which was the case with Bouncer. And I just thought I'd share with you just to open up a little bit more that glimpse inside on how this type of life really is, or most importantly, how those youngsters on the street thinking that these guys are legend or so high and mighty persons that they'll go out their way to actually go get clearance from them or go get their badge of honor from them. They ain't worth it, man. Do you, do your family, do your life, man. There's nothing but losses and pain following these individuals. And at the end of the day, you're just another stepping stone to their game, which is the bang game, the dope game, the money power hunger game. But I don't want to get off topic, I know tend to lose myself talking to you guys, and again, thank you guys for you guys' prayers. Thank you so much for you guys' kind comments. Most importantly, for you guys' time to listen to my story. And I do hope, it gets to those years that it needs to get, to at least use me as a thing. They don't want to be as dumb as I was. Pero como siempre, be true to yourself. Stay loyal to your loved ones. And most importantly, man, stay loyal to you, your life. You know, don't go through the headaches. Gracias y buenas noches.